Good evening, welcome to Central News for Thursday the 13th of February. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Bottomley Pots Covered in Spots has arrived in Tauranga to celebrate a $100,000 donation to the Harry McCleary and Friends Sculpture Project from National Construction Maintenance and Management Services provider CityCare. CityCare General Manager Tim Gibson says the company was delighted to support the Harry McCleary and Friends Tauranga Waterfront Sculpture Project. The project is a storybook scene of permanent bronze sculptures of Harry McCleary and some of his friends, Scarface Claw, Slinky Malinky, Hercules Morse, Muffin McLeay, Bottomley Pots, Schnitzel Von Crumb, Bitzer Maloney and Zachary Quack. Creative Tauranga's Chief Executive Tracy Ruddock-Gudsall says they are also pleased to be able to start the ball rolling on this art project for the city and celebrating Dame Lindley Dodd.
Well, we've just received a $100,000 donation towards the Harry McCleary and Friends Tauranga Waterfront Sculpture Project. It's a bit of a mouthful. From CityCare. They're a national organisation that have seen the value of the project to our particular city in the country, and we're just delighted to have them on board with their very, very generous donation. And yeah, it's been a big day for Creative Tauranga.
Te Puke resident Sue Matthews is returning to the Western Bay of Plenty District Council after winning the Makatu Te Puke ward by about 500 votes in this week's by-election. The former two-term Western Bay District Councillor won the by-election with 1,816 votes ahead of the fellow former councillors Mike Lally, who got 1,318 votes, and last term's Deputy Mayor Paul Thomas, who netted 843 votes. Waihi Beach resident Derek Mills won the last seat on his town's community board in the by-election, spiked by only 3 people putting their hands up for 4 seats last October. Derek got 484 votes in a close win against former Katikati Community Board Chair Bruce Dusk, an Athenry resident who received 355 votes. A fishing company fined for illegally trawling a protected area off the Bay of Plenty coast were sentenced on the basis they had not deliberately bottom trawled in a protected area or falsified the returns, says the Ministry of Primary Industries. Auckland-based Anton's Trawling Company Limited and Kyle Hassan, its then skipper, were both convicted of making false or misleading statements in fishing returns, contrary to Section 230 of the Fisheries Act in 1996. The convictions arise from 2 trips during 2010 when Hassan illegally fished the Rumble 4 seamount and reported 31 tonnes of fish taken as coming from the Auckland Fisheries Management Area when they were taken from the Central Management Area. Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, your Friday may have an early shower or 2, then long fine spells with a dying westerly. Your expected high is 23 and an overnight low of 10. Tauranga, it will become fine and you have a dying westerly too. Your high is 24 and an overnight low of 14. Just ahead, are you prepared? Welcome to Central News on TV Central. When a natural disaster strikes, we all want information as soon as possible. Is the transistor radio with extra batteries still relevant, or should we be checking our Twitter account for information? Anne-Marie spoke with Kelly Newell, local Civil Defence Emergency Management Coordinator from the Waikato District Council, about being prepared and coping with disaster.
So at home it's really important to have a household preparedness plan, and creating that with your family, make sure that your children know what to do in an emergency. Having a communication plan so you know where your family members are and how to communicate with each other if you don't have phones available or power available. Having a getaway bag, so if you have to make a quick getaway from your house, something with just your basics like a jersey and some food and a bit of water, and also copies of your important documents like your birth certificate and your mortgage payments and things like that. Survival kit, really important too. You need to be able to survive for at least 3 days after a disaster. Knowing your neighbours. So last year Get Ready Get Through Week message was know your neighbours. So just having that conversation with them before something happens and supporting each other in an emergency. And also The networks you already have in your community through hobby groups and sports clubs, and having a conversation, possibly even at a meeting, about how you could support each other if something happened in your community.
In an emergency kit, it was always advised to have a transistor radio with extra batteries. Is this still the case, or should we have a solar-powered phone charger so we can check our Twitter account?
Good question. We understand that not everyone has a smartphone and a solar power charger, so we'll be putting those key messages still on the radio. But there's a real advantage to social media in an emergency for us to understand what's happening in the community. So we'll use both traditional and non-traditional means of getting our messages across.
If you could get one message to the community of the Waikato District Council, what would it be about being prepared and getting through?
That's it. Just be prepared. Have those kits at home, and especially have a plan organised with your family, have a communication plan, and know your neighbours. It's really important.
What should we do after a natural disaster?
Check on your family, check on your neighbours, support your community, and know where your civil defence centres are.
Make sure you are prepared. You can go to getthrough.co.nz to find out more information. Yesterday, the 12th of February, was International Go By Bike Day, and many people in our regions left the car keys at home, popped on a helmet and cycled their way to work. Central News was out on the streets of Tauranga.
Yeah, there's been heaps of people cycling by at all our pit stops around Tauranga, which is great to see.
Sport Bay Plenty is getting behind the event big time. So what are you guys doing today?
So basically we've got 5 pit stops happening all around Tauranga, and those pit stops are just about celebrating those who are cycling to work and trying to encourage more people to jump on their bike and go to work. So everyone who cycles by, they go in the draw to win 1 or 2 bikes, brand new bikes. We've got spot prizes, we've got some water, we've got iced tea, and we've got some fruit for them to take away. So it's just something small, but it's a great way to acknowledge all those that bike to work.
Where are your pit stops?
So we've got them, one at Red Square, downtown Tauranga. We've got one at Chapel Street, going over the bridge from Otamotai. We've got another one on Cameron Road, opposite Boys High. We've got one out of Mount Maunganui at Maranui Street, and we've got one here at the marina at the harbour.
Aside from the fitness, what are the benefits of biking to work?
Yeah, obviously you get fitter, which is a great thing, but yeah, it's a great way to beat the traffic. We were just talking to a cyclist before, and he said he had to use his car yesterday to had to use his car to come to work, and it actually took him longer to get home because he was stuck in traffic. So the great thing about biking is that you beat the traffic often. It's clean and green, so you know you don't have to waste money on petrol, and it's a green form of transport, which is awesome.
Tauranga obviously is no Beijing, but do we have to worry a little bit about pollution?
Well, I think it's always good to everyone can do their bit, and by going by bike it is kind of the environmentally friendly way, and you get fit at the same time, so lots of benefits to be had.
What about safety? Is that a big issue here in Tauranga?
Well, I guess that's probably the number one reason why people don't cycle more, is that they don't feel safe on the roads. But, you know, the cyclists that do it regularly, it's actually surprising how safe it can be. We're really lucky here in Tauranga. We've got lots of cycle paths, not only cycle paths on the road, but there's heaps of great urban off-road mountain bike trails that you can link up all the different parts of town without having to battle the traffic. And I think as long as you're sensible and wear really bright coloured clothing, wear a fluoro vest on your backpack, then you're going to be more likely to be seen and hopefully be safe.
Do you have some advice for people who are starting out biking? I mean, should we just jump straight on, or should we need to kind of train up to it?
Well, I reckon I just say jump on your bike and head to work. There's, you know, obviously sometimes you just start off slowly and build up gradually, but with cycling the great thing is it's kind of a sport or activity for any age and any fitness level, and it's great that it suits, you know, the 5-year-olds up to the 95-year-olds. It's weight bearing, so you don't have to worry about, you know, joints getting worn out or anything like that. So I reckon just get out there and give it a go. You might be surprised at how easy it is and actually how fun it is.
And you are a keen cyclist yourself, so what do you get out of it?
Oh, well, it's pastime for me. I mean, I cycle to work myself, so it's a great way to get my exercise in before and after work without then having to do it. You beat the traffic at the same time, and it's just a great way to see the countryside. And the great thing about here in New Zealand and here in the Bay of Plenty, there's so many fantastic trails. You don't have to go on the road. There's heaps of family-friendly trails that you can do that are scenic. and it's just a good thing to get involved in.
Sport Bay Plenty's Play in the Bay calendar is designed to help you get active, and February is Bike Month. So check out how you can get cycling at sportbop.co.nz/Play in the Bay. Coming up after the break, women in dairy and cycling again. Welcome back. The Avanti Drome Rev Cycle Festival will be held on Waikato Roads on Saturday the 22nd of February. It's a chance for cyclists of all skills and abilities to experience New Zealand's greatest cycling terrain. Anne-Marie caught up with Kevin Andres to find out more.
Avanti Drome Rev Cycle Festival, it's a series of cycling categories. It's an event that caters for a range of abilities from kids through to those that are new to cycling, all the way through to those who are experienced and actually very good. It's a collection of races over various distances, all on one day here in Cambridge.
You've teamed up with local charitable trust Poet. Can you tell me about them?
Perry Outdoor Education Trust is a good link with the Rev Cycle Festival. The trust is all about getting secondary school people, students from low decile schools into outdoor education. Cycling is an outdoor activity, so it's a really neat link between that trust and our event.
We're standing here in this world-class venue, the Avanti Drome. It's nearly completed. How's the excitement levels amongst cycling enthusiasts?
Sure, isn't it fantastic? Every time I walk in here, it's a big wow factor. It's really neat. It's only a month or so away from opening, from the first event. We're getting a lot of calls, and we're not actually involved in building it, and so I can't imagine what the home of cycling, the interest they're getting directly, but we see it as an indirect element too. It's neat. It's just fabulous.
Do you think it's attracted a different calibre of athletes to the Avanti Drome Rev Cycle Festival?
Well, yeah, the Avanti Drome is a facility, but it's also brought a whole lot of new cyclists to our region. It's brought a massive interest in cycling to our region as well, nationally, a national focus on the Waikato as a region for cycling. So we're seeing that come through in the people who are interested in our event, the Avanti Drome Rev Cycle Festival. We're seeing some neat and high calibre cyclists in the elite race, but all the way through into the community events as well.
And you're having registration right here at the Avanti Drome as well.
Absolutely, yes. So this is before the official opening. So it's a really good chance for a lot of people who've maybe driven past and seen it from the outside, thinking, well, what does it look like inside? So we're going to be bringing them into the infield, doing our registration. Alison Shanks will be here for Q&A and sign some autographs, etc. So it's neat. It's a really good introduction before everybody else gets to see it after the opening, after the first event. Yeah, a sneak preview.
Entries are now open for the Avanti Drome Rev Cycle Festival. For further information or to enter online, go to therev.co.nz. The Dairy Women's Network of New Zealand is holding a conference for women in the industry. Keep their fingers on the pulse. I caught up with two local representatives earlier in the week.
Conferences in Hamilton this year. It's a chance for Waikato to host our conference. It is stacking up to be an awesome two-day event, and we're hoping that women from the wider Waikato area will use it as an opportunity to come along and enjoy this experience. The theme is keeping your finger on the pulse, and basically we have opted for that theme because that's what dairy women do. There are many facets of their business, family and community, and they have to be up with the play all the time. We use the conference as an opportunity to showcase the Dairy Woman of the Year Award, which is very generously sponsored by Fonterra. The theme for that is Masquerade Ball, and we have a live band booked, and I think it will be a great night, and the women will really have a very, very enjoyable evening. We have an initiative this year, the Dairy Women's Dairy Community Leadership Award. This is to recognise a woman at grassroots level. There are many unsung heroes out there in the dairy community, and we wish to, as I say, recognise one of those. Nominations are actually open for that award on our website at the moment, and if there is somebody out there that you feel would be justly deserving of this, by all means, log on and make it happen for her.
Now, so it's the national conference, so women from all over New Zealand will be attending. So what kind of dairy woman is your usual woman that comes along?
Oh, for conference we get every sort of lady that's involved in the industry, from women that have just started farming, so might be their first job, to women that have multiple farm owners that are actually looking at how can they step back out of the day-to-day of the farming, to people that support the dairy industry, so women that might be accountants or lawyers or work for retail supply people that supply the dairy industry. So we get a wide range of people, and it's just fabulous because they all come together at one location, and the networking that you can have between all those women is just amazing. You get a great buzz, and even though you might just be starting out, and for example, you might be how do you cope with feeding calves and kids? How do you manage that? And then you'll meet other women that have been there, done that, and you pick so many things up. It's been great.
So when and where is the conference?
Conference is at the Clawlands Event Centre this year, and it's a 2-day event and starts on the 19th of March, basically. We kick off early that morning, and then we have, as I said, the Dairy Woman of the Year Awards evening is also at the Clawlands Event Centre on the evening of the 19th. So yeah, it's a very full 2 days. The main body of the conference is actually 9 workshops. We have some exceptional presenters this year that we have been able to bring forward to present these to the women. The learning outcomes that we've ticked off, I think women will go home inspired. They will have tools, techniques, new initiatives that they will be able to implement on farm. I can guarantee they will get a lot out of conference. The challenge, I think, my committee and I feel, is actually working out which 4 to attend over the 2 days out of the 9.
You can find out more information about the conference and the Dairy Women's Network at dwn.co.nz. Just ahead, housing and Relay for Life. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. Housing affordability in the Western Bay of Plenty is the second worst in the country. Land has been freed up for new development and set aside for the next 25 years. I spoke with Bill Waisley of Smart Growth to see if freeing up land has much of an impact with housing affordability, as the new developments are generally the most expensive houses.
Freeing up land, the theory of it indicates that land would be cheaper, but I think a lot of the discussion around affordable housing is that people and agencies tend to forget the need to provide that infrastructure and what that cost of infrastructure is. And sometimes the more remote land is, the more expensive it may be to provide network infrastructure in terms of water supply, wastewater, etc.
How do we get that balance of building more houses but ensuring there is that infrastructure to cope with the population growth?
And it comes back, I think, to one of the fundamental principles of smart growth, and that is focused around making sure there is that adequate land available, that the infrastructure provision is well planned, and therefore there is an efficient way of actually providing, and hopefully cost-effective way of providing that particular infrastructure. And it is getting the right balance in terms of the contributions that those who are developing the land pay, and that of the councils in terms of what they need to fund for infrastructure provision. But as I said before, there are a range of other matters that contribute to perhaps a lack of affordable housing, or the housing affordability issue in terms of the cost of building materials and those types of things.
One of the principles is that affordable housing is made of quality materials that last. Tauranga has one of the highest rates of leaky building in the country per capita. Is that something that Smart Growth will try to address?
No, it's not a matter that Smart Growth has addressed per se. That is a matter that has been left essentially with the local governments, Tauranga City, Western Bay. There are a range of processes and mechanisms in place to deal with that. So that's been clearly left at that level.
The Relay for Life takes place in Hamilton on Saturday the 1st of March and sees teams made up of 10 or more people walk around a course, relay style, for 22 hours. Anne-Marie spoke with the team captain, Nikki Van Praag, to find out her motivation.
I think I'm CEO of the hospital, so as a manager it's a very good team bonding exercise, and personally my motivation is my father died of cancer and my father-in-law as well, so there's a strong family bond, I guess, with cancer. The staff also have a lot of personal experience with it too, and we look after a lot of patients that have cancer. We're a private surgical hospital, so we do a lot of surgeries on different sorts of cancers. So it's just something which makes us feel really good. It's a way of giving back to the community, and it's just a really good, feel-good thing.
You took part last year. How was that experience?
It was great. It was such an awesome thing to do. I think it was our first time last year and we really had no idea what it was about. So it was just such a good atmosphere to be involved in. I think seeing everyone there in their costumes and having such a good time, it was amazing.
For Relay for Life first-timers, what should they expect?
I think a really carnival type atmosphere. It's really good. The walking's easy. That's really easy. We thought we'd do maybe half or 3/4 of an hour to an hour each, but we ended up doing way more than that just because it was such a lot of fun.
Have you done a roster for who's walking at what time?
Yes, we do. Yep, we put it up on the board and people put their names down. But again, they put in about an hour at a time. So, but what we find is that they just keep walking.
Now, the Relay for Life is renowned for its festival-like atmosphere, with all the teams dressing up. What's your costume?
Yes, our team's called Medical Rockers, so we're going in that vein. Yeah, we also do a health check test, so we'll be doing health checks on people if they want to have their blood pressure and glucose tests done.
You can register a team for the Relay for Life at relayforlife.org.nz. That is Central News for today. Like us on Facebook or email us at news@tvcentral.co.nz. I will be back again tomorrow night with more guests from in and around our regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.